Hello, sixth graders, and welcome to class. In our last class, we looked at the meaning of commerce, the importance of commerce, and the aid to commerce. And today we are looking at the division of commerce. And in our last class, we said commerce involves trade and aids to trade. And that is the process of buying and selling, as well as the distribution of goods and services. Now, moving on to the division of commerce. Division here means the parts or types of trade. Now, trade takes two forms, and that is home trade and foreign trade. When we say home trade, we are talking about the buying and selling that takes place within a country. Here it says home trade is also known as domestic, local, or internal trade because it is a type of trade involving the buying and selling of goods and services within the country. For example, a trade between a trader from Oyo State and Edo State is called a home trade. A trade between a trader in Lagos and Abuja is also an example of home trade. So any buying and selling that takes place within Nigeria, any part of Nigeria at all, is an example of home trade. And home trade is subdivided into wholesale and retail trade. What then is wholesale trade? Wholesale trade simply is the buying of goods in large quantities from the producer or manufacturer. Another word for producer is manufacturer. And these wholesalers, they then sell these products in small quantities to the retailers. And that takes us to the second subdivision of home trade, which is the retail trade. Now, retail trade is the buying of goods in smaller quantity from the wholesaler and then reselling them in smaller units to the final consumers. Now, there is also a small-scale retailer and a large-scale retailer. Now, what's the difference? The difference is, for the small-scale retailer, these are the type of traders we see along our streets. For example, the wife to that security guard selling by the roadside is an example of a small-scale retailer. They buy in small quantities and they also sell in small quantities. An example of a large-scale retailer are found in the supermarket. Example, we have the Allmark supermarket, we have the Market Square. These guys, they buy goods in large quantities, but they end up selling them in smaller units. If you go to Market Square or Allmark, for example, and you want to buy a carton of noodles, which is in large quantity, now that carton of noodles will be calculated per unit. We have about 40 packs in the carton of noodles. So if a noodle is sold at Allmark for 100 naira, now they're going to multiply it 100 naira multiplied by 40 packs, and you're going to pay for all that. What are they doing? They are buying in large quantities and then selling in smaller units. So that makes them a retailer. The second part or division of trade or commerce is the foreign trade. Now, foreign trade is also called external or international trade. It is a trade that involves the buying and selling of goods and services between two or more countries. Now, two countries are involved. No matter how close these countries are, no matter how close, even if they share the same border, but as far as these are independent nations, it becomes an international trade. For example, Nigeria is very, very close to Ghana, but because Nigeria is a country of its own and Ghana is also a country of its own, that makes any trade that takes place between these two countries to become an international trade. Another example here is a trade between a Nigerian businessman and an American businessman. So that also is a foreign trade. And foreign trade is subdivided into imports, exports, and entreport. Now, imports, as the name implies, means you are bringing in. To import means you are buying goods from other countries and bringing them into your country. The opposite of that is export. Export is the act of selling or sending goods and services from one country to another. So you are sending goods from Nigeria to America. So if you are sending goods out of the country, that is export. But if you are bringing goods into the country, that is import. Now looking at entreport. Entreport is the reselling or re-exporting of goods imported into a country to another country without working on it or transforming it in any way, or without any form of modification. For example, the raw material for making chocolate and beverage drink like Milo, Ovaltine, and Bonvita is cocoa pod. Now, let's take for example, Nigeria will grow cocoa, and then a trader from Ghana came to Nigeria to buy cocoa from Nigeria. Listen carefully. Let me take that again. Nigeria grows cocoa, and a trader from Ghana came to Nigeria to buy cocoa pods and took it to Ghana. That already is an international trade. And then, having taken this cocoa pod to Ghana, he further sold the same cocoa pod to a trader in America. Then that makes it entreport, because they bought the goods and took it to Ghana, and they further sold it or exported it to another country for sale. So that makes it entreport. It therefore means that if trader A buys a product from a country and takes it to another country and further sells the product from his country to the third country, that makes it entreport. But take for example, if that product, the cocoa pods, were taken from Nigeria to Ghana, and then the cocoa pod was transformed, was processed into chocolate, and then those chocolates were further exported from Ghana to America, then that would be an international trade between Nigeria and Ghana, where the Ghanaian businessman bought cocoa pods from Nigeria and took it to his country. And when the cocoa pod got to his country, he changed the form of the cocoa pod from being cocoa into chocolate. And that product was exported from Ghana to America. So that is import and export. Import because the trader brought in cocoa pods into Ghana. And export because he further sent those goods out of Ghana to America. But entreport is a process whereby those cocoa pods were taken from Nigeria to Ghana as cocoa, and it was further taken from Ghana to America as cocoa, still in the same form of cocoa. So that makes it entreport. So that is it for division of trade. Hope to see you in the next class. Have a great day. Bye bye.